Game of Thrones, Season 5, Episode 8. Oh yeah, Hardhome. I think we should be changing it to be called Hardhome. You're watching. So, as you can probably tell, I'm a happy viewer. It was like, are you full of plot development? Oh, it's okay. Here's an extra portion of like good acting. Woo! Oh, you're full of good acting. Here's some awesome special effects. Brilliant. Compared to last week, it's like night and day. Let's not start with the big thing because there's more to this episode than the end. And this episode was it started on a great footing with Tyrion and Peter Dinklage once again just like reminding us why we enjoy Game of Thrones politics, because often we can kind of get lost in the fact that it's just lots of talking and walking. But when you have the meeting that happened between Dany and Tyrion, and it is exactly what you wanted it to be, and it moves, you're not too sure how it's going to move, but you watch it and you just go, yes, great, thank you. He's got a bottle of wine in his hand again. He's happy. It's just, you can think, everything's okay in Game of Thrones again, but not because we're getting what we want, although the audience should be allowed that every now and then. It's just the fact that it's interesting. When Emilia Clarke was put next to Peter Dinklage, you can tell that she stepped up her game. Most of the people do the exact same thing. When they're put in new situations, they actually wake up again rather than being on the same sets with the same people saying very similar things or small differences. They actually have a chance to go, oh wow, I've got to remember what I'm doing. I've got another person here that I've got to act with, and actually they're pretty good, so I best step up my game. And what could have been a really dull, boring sort of piece towards the end about the wheel was powerful. She did all the small bits just right, and she delivered it brilliantly. The progression of Cersei is interesting, but as I was watching it, all I could think of was Blues Brothers.
I guess you're really up shit creek. Ow!
Christ, Jake, take it easy, man.
Now what? Oh, Jesus Christ! Ow! Jesus Christ! Ah, shit! Fuck you, bitch! Hey! Jesus Christ!
That might not have been as powerful to me as it would be for everybody else. Great plot development. It's interesting to see her downfall. Although she could find her way out of it. Who knows, it's Game of Thrones. And speaking of good acting, we had Arya again, just kind of becoming the greatest actor by creating a new character that will help the many-faced god. And it's good. What did we have with Arya in that scene? We had her learning to lie, acting as the character out in the streets, and sort of finding somebody that she's going to assassinate. Or maybe not, depends whatever's in the vial. But considering that in the rest of the season, we've had her arriving at the place and trying to act, it's insane what they can put into an episode if they want to. Sansa and Reek, another example of fast. What took, Ramsay weeks, months, years of torture to kind of get this broken Reek took Sansa 30 seconds in a room just to sort of break him into why he didn't kill, or why he killed or didn't kill Rickon and Bran. And but yes, thank God they're moving it forward instead of just showing Ramsay being a psychopath again. It was good. They kind of didn't pussyfoot around it. They just kind of got to it. And then finally, this massive fight between the White Walkers and the Wildlings. Oh, my nerdy sci-fi sort of senses were tingling, and I was thinking something's good's going to happen, especially when I saw the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse standing on the top of the hill. I was like, oh, it's just doing so nicely. And the animation was like something from Jason and the Argonauts. Those skeletons were just brilliant. It was just all so... You could hear all the sound effects in the background just crunching it all, and everything was kind of like manic zombies, but what could you ask more of it? you know, we had a giant kind of swinging himself around. Imagine we had a giant White Walker. He was pretty much still alive at the end, but there's questions whether he, you know, if they could get a giant White Walker, that would be insane. What could be good is that we might have 2 fight scenes. You know, we have this big one with the White Walkers, and then we could have Stannis and Winterfell with the Boltons. And so it seems really odd that the showrunners have kind of split up this season in a way that an okay start, boring past couple of episodes. Maybe not boring. Boring is probably the wrong word. They're still kind of interesting, but done in a way which isn't satisfying to the audience. And then now we could have potentially 2 massive fight scenes in the last couple of episodes. I'm loving it. Let's look at tweets that I found. This one really cracked me up. @_Tory King. Broke rule number 1 and liked a character. Broke rule number 2 and believed a character was safe. Rookie error. And I think that was actually to do with Cersei. I think at the time that tweet came out was when Cersei was doing her thing. If I'm wrong, Tory K, just let us know. But I found that interesting. You know, we have empathy for Cersei. That's kind of cool. @Gary Manilow or Rob Eastwood says, "Why are all the wildlings dressed like rejected Call of Duty characters?" I completely agree with this. When I first saw it, I was like, are they in army camo? Are they in snow army camo? Is that what they're trying to do? And whilst the contrast between the black crows and them was really, really nice, it's the first time that I feel that I've just seen the costume design almost churn out identical costumes. It didn't feel like there was enough variance. It didn't make sense why they were all so similar, but maybe this is part of their camo to blend in with the white, and that's fine. But I like your tweet. I thought the same thing. @Kate L. Rhodes. Arya has an Oyster card? Yes, I thought the same thing. I was like, she's got herself an Oyster card? Okay, Game of Thrones is going to the Tube in London. This is how twisted they're going to go. No. Oyster cart. Oh. @Hipster Hey Mitch. Bellamy Blake. Sorry, I've got to shout it because it's all in caps lock. John's sword, though. It killed one of the walkers, so it must be dragonglass, right? Unfortunately not. I think it's Valyrian steel, and that clearly also kills him. And it was obvious that it was going to become important later on, as he was like coming on the boat about to land on the Wildlings Bay. He had like, kind of almost had his sword out to go, hey, see my sword? This is going to be important later in this episode. Just check it out right here. Check out my wolfy head. @Rob AP Jones. Rob Pritchard Jones. On a side note, Frozen 2 took a bit of a dark turn. #let it go. He is clearly not going to let it go. He's just going to raise the dead and come after Jon Snow for killing one of his people. If that sword can kill one, then maybe they can kill many. I was very chuffed with this episode. If you have any thoughts on Thrones, #thoughts on Thrones. Otherwise, I shall see you next week.